I want to know what love is. Ooh, and I know I want you to blow me. You know something, guys? Uh, I've pushed back against that notion that people always use. You know, those kumbaya people that's out there who say that children, if left alone, would just be perfect. Children have to be shown how to hate. Children just don't hate naturally. And I've always said, yeah, they do. Children do hate naturally. It's just how it is. I always said, all you got to do is observe kids on the playground. Okay, give kids one ball or one toy that both of them want, and see what those little hellions do. Yes, they're going to do their best to kill one another. They're going to fight, is what they're going to do, and inevitably, the differences between those kids, whether they're tall, whether they're short, whether they're fat, whether they're skinny, whether they're black, whether they're white, it's all going to come into play. Okay, that's the humble origins and beginnings of bigotry in human beings. It's just how it is. All right, so I always say, as easily as people can love, people hate. But we call ourselves these days being obsessed with trying to show kids how to love. All right. But what I'm saying is it's not any more acceptable to manipulate hatred in people, which we see our media doing pretty much these days. It's not as any more acceptable to do that as it is to try to manipulate and condition people to love. Okay. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. Thank you, guys. This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. I'm glad that you guys are here because I just saw this story on Project Veritas, right? And I want to share it with you guys. And this is pretty disturbing because it involves our children and how people are going out of their way to condition our children through their toys, through their cartoons. And I think a lot of us knew they were doing this, but here's that smoking gun, guys. All right, they're conditioning the kids to just love each other more. All right, and let's talk about this. Okay, it says here on Project Veritas, the headline: Critical race theory indoctrination exposed within children's toy manufacturer Hasbro. Insider leaks internal training given to employees. By age 4, kids are showing a strong and consistent pro-white, anti-black bias. Okay, now I have to take offense. I take issue with that very notion right there because it comes from a place where they're singling out and pinpointing white kids and their bias against anti-white kids, as if human beings don't have the capacity to hate one another or be biased against or for one another. All right, regardless of race. And this is what I'm talking about. This is my problem with CRT, because all it does is go from one point of view and one perspective onto everybody else. So you have the victim and you have the victimizers, and they seem pretty content to cast white people and white children and white men and white women as the aggressors, as the perpetrators of hatred onto everybody else, as if you don't have a worldview where you see this going on all around the world. You know, some people will come on here and argue, and I've heard the argument before, oh, you know, white people, oh, they cause oppression and aggression everywhere they go. Okay, but look at the world. This is a human thing, okay, that they're trying to classify as race. When you go from that standpoint, from that jump off point, that it's all about race, you're going to fuck up your own study, okay? And you're going to lose all credibility ultimately because it is a human condition. Okay, so the reason why this is coming out is because you have a whistleblower who worked for Hasbro, who has since gone over to Project Veritas and is talking about the training that he personally saw that employees are given that lend weight to what I'm talking about here, where they want to manipulate the children for whatever reason. I'm not going to assume that they have good intentions because, like I said, this is conditioning, it's brainwashing, it's manipulation. And I see conditioning people to hate. I see that as seriously as I see conditioning people to love. Let people alone. Leave them alone. All right? You have to be pretty damn pessimistic to believe that people just have it in them to be hopeless haters. All right. The human condition says that you're going to have haters and you're going to have lovers depending on the individual and their experience. Sometimes you have to let people live. Okay. That sense that people have sometimes to actually be discriminating against someone else or something else can actually come in handy. Sometimes you should be apprehensive about a group of black guys that you see in the corner who are threatening. Sometimes you should be apprehensive about a group of white people who you see, maybe they're, a hate group or something on both sides. You know what I mean? You could be in danger. You see a shady looking character, who walks into your home or walks into a store or something like that. You might want to pay a little bit more attention to that person. Sometimes you have that. Sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes you can be bigoted and prejudiced. But once again, that is human. Okay. Hopefully the human has it in their capacity to learn when they're wrong. I was wrong to stereotype. I was wrong to discriminate. But it's not always going to happen. And that is what separates good from bad human beings, but human beings nonetheless. We can't just be programs. But what is being suggested here is that we use our toys, and a lot of toys have tie-ins to cartoons and movies. We use these things that are geared towards these young kids to program them and condition them and manipulate them into being less aggressive, I guess, or less intuitive, whatever the case may be. So let's take a look a little bit at what else this is saying, all right? Project Veritas released a new video today exposing children's toy manufacturer Hasbro, which is currently partnering with conscious kids to force critical race theory upon its employees during mandatory trainings. Now, David Johnson, who is a Harvey Nash packaging engineer contracting with Hasbro, sat down with Project Veritas founder and CEO James O'Keefe to discuss the CRT training in which he was forced to participate. Forced to participate, guys. Johnson leaked a video to Veritas showing Conscious Kids co-founder Katie Ihazuka and Ramon Steffens lecturing Hasbro employees about infants' inherent racism. And Johnson says, I decided to come to Project Veritas because I opposed the indoctrination of children that they wanted to push. And I felt that more people needed to know about it, Johnson said. They want to introduce children into racial bias at an early age before they're really able to understand what race and racism is, he said. Kate Ihazuka, one of the Conscious Kids co-founders that trained Hasbro employees, was recorded explaining how young children are prone to racist behavior. She says, by 3 to 6 months, babies are beginning to notice and already express preference by race, Ihazuka said. By 3 to 6 months. Now, what does that suggest to you? To me, it suggests that this is natural. Okay, once again, human beings have a natural capacity to love and to hate. If you see a baby from 3 to 6 months expressing this, well, then there it is. Anything other than allowing a child to develop naturally is going against nature, and that's not healthy. Once again, what are we doing in our society today? We're teaching society to rely more heavily on external influences to influence our humanity than we are our own natural ability to be able to do these things. In other words, let other people do the thinking for us. Let other people do the processing for us. This is not healthy. What happens to a society where that is in play, where you're going to teach children, she's suggesting as young as 3 to 6 months, how to accept someone who's different than they are? In the animal kingdom, you don't find this. With dogs and cats, all right, what are you going to teach dogs not to chase cats? You're going to teach cats not to chase mice? Sometimes you have to let nature be, and it will work itself out. Once again, you're coming from a very pessimistic point of view when you think that mankind is just going to just hate. You have to have a more optimistic point of view here. All right, a realistic point of view. Because like I said, people are just never going to love each other. Remember, I'm the guy who years ago did a video called Nobody Has to Love You. Nobody has to love me. I don't want people to just be loving me. I got one person who downvotes just about every video that I do. There's always one thumbs down on just about every video I do. I'm not saying I don't get more than that, but consistently there's this one, all right? And when I see it, do I feel any kind of way about it? No, because I don't expect to appeal to everybody. You know, it's just how it is. And it's perfectly fine as long as you're not trying to hate me. Now, that's a different subject, you know. But there's always going to be that. There's always going to be crime. There's always going to be wars. There's always going to be racial discrimination. There's always going to be religious discrimination, sexual, gender discrimination. That's part of the human equation, the human experience. Now, you can try to influence that if you want to with your platform, as I'm kind of trying to do now. But when it comes to indoctrination, when it comes to, trying to brainwash and condition, our children, no, you got to draw the line there, guys. So I just wanted to do this video so I can just do my part to put it out there, guys, because a lot of us, we buy Hasbro, we watch these movies. I'm sure it's not just Hasbro that's doing it. Look all around. This is what you see. You see a lot of conditioning going on out here, both ways, to hate and to love. But it falls on the human being and our internal fortitude to, I guess, mature, to have an understanding of the world that we live in and our place in that world. All right. So that's what I'm all about. All right. Not the dumbing down of who we are by letting other people do these things for us. We just have to be aware of it, guys. We got to watch the kids. We got to watch everything they bring into the home, everything they do. We have to be ready with that discussion, to have with them about the world that they live in. So, guys, get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this. Of course, I'm going to leave the link to this in the description box so you can read a little bit more about what's going on. Something tells me we'll be hearing more about this. This CRT is just everywhere. It's not just school. It's everywhere. And you have to start wondering, what is the end game in all of this? And I'll be talking about that on a future video. I mean, I don't know, but I have my concerns. All right, so guys, let me know how you feel about this. As always, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe, you can catch me on Twitter. If not, I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you guys for listening. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.